You are. Everyone associates Baga and Bairrada with you and what you've done. Tell me, what's the strength of Baga as a grape variety? What makes you love this grape variety?
Baga is a difficult grape variety to work with, but if you think, if you learn, if you try, if you check it, you can achieve great things with Baga. You can achieve sometimes because it happens, but you can achieve every time if you learn and you introduce your knowledge to turn Baga, to destroy the ashes edge of Baga, tannins, acidity. And this was what I did during my life.
But you're quite scientific, aren't you? Is your background scientific? The way you
I'm
approach winemaking,
I am chemical engineer, you know.
But you're very smart the way you work. I've tasted some of the wines that you've made, and
no,
for instance,
I am not. I tell you one thing. I am Latin born, but Anglo-Saxonic thinker. You understand? So I mix the not the fantasy, only the fantasy. It happens because the nature gives or so. I try to interpret the nature. And this is my other side, my scientific side, that I try to check why happens this. For example, when I did the sparkling wine with hyperoxygenation, at the beginning it was oxidized and later was not oxidized. What happened? Yes, batonnage, the removement from the lees, get the oxygen in excess is what happens with the lees from sparkling that got the oxygen in excess, and you don't feel the oxygen because the work of the leaves. And so, for me at the beginning was strange. Now it's, of course.
This is very common in Burgundy. You don't see things.
Tell me about Baga. What's special about Baga?
Baga is quite unique, but I think it belongs to the very restricted club of the varieties that can make wines that can age in bottle for a very long time and at the same time can make beautiful sparklings. It's not many varieties like that. And then it's very elegant, but they can produce wines that are very structured, very powerful. So I think it's unique because of that.
What are the challenges with growing Baga?
Baga is late ripening. It's very vigorous. So in terms of, you need to be present in the vineyard every day. Because in terms of growing Baga, you need to be very careful. You have to manage very well the production. You need to be very you need to take a lot of care about the disease. And especially during the ripening, if you have rain, it's a problem. So we have to control very well the farming.
This is a region that excels with two very contrasting styles of wine from the same grape. So you've got really age-worthy red wines, but also you've got these beautiful sparkling wines as well.
No.
Is that,
Pay attention. If Bairrada was dominated by Baga sparkling, never had problems, was rich. Why? Because you can produce for Baga, for sparkling, you can produce 15 tons or 20 tons per hectare. And you have not the problems from the rain at the end of the harvest, at the end of September, because you pick earlier. But if you think red wine is more difficult because you need to reduce the quantity, the yield. Why? Because we are close to the ocean. The ocean supplies a lot of wet weather, and sometimes we have problems with rain during the harvest. And rain during the harvest is terrible for Baga, because Baga has a thin skin, as Nebbiolo, as Pinot Noir, as Pinot Noir, as Sangiovese. Every great grape varieties have these problems, have some problems, and Baga has this problem. So, if you reduce, you get the ripeness earlier than your neighbors. No, because my neighbors in future will do the same thing as I do. And if the rain arrives, I can pick my grapes riper than my neighbors, because I reduce the yield 1 month before.
So you're picking for sparkling?
I picked for sparkling.
And then
I did
reduce the yield,
optimization,
and then-
very Anglo-Saxon side, optimization, engineering side. The first for sparkling, that is the better for sparkling because you have no primary flavors. Acidity, lightness, sparkling. And the second one, as you reduce the yield, as you reduce the crop, you can control how much you want to produce. You want to produce 3 tons per hectare, you want to produce 2 tons per hectare. I can do it with the regulation that I do for sparkling wine.
So you're from Bairrada.
Yes.
You've worked elsewhere, but you've come back to Bairrada. Your wine project is in Bairrada. What's special about Bairrada as a wine region?
I think there's not many regions in Portugal like Bairrada where we have this one variety, and it's possible to explore terroir. I think talking about terroir, it's only possible in Bairrada in Portugal, okay? Because it's possible to explore these little differences of the soil, of the exposure, of basically of that. So I believe that this is what turns Bairrada so special.
Yeah. And you started making Vadio wines in 2005. So now you're like 17, 18 years into the project. How's it gone? What's the vision for Vadio? And you know, where do you hope to get to in the future?
So the future is we still have to buy some fruit. The goal is to be completely self-sufficient in terms of grapes, in order to have all the grapes farmed by us organically. We are introducing some biodynamic techniques as well. So, and the goal is to produce around 50,000 bottles. We have 10 hectares now, and I think we want to be at that size, and we want to explore this. We have 3 spots today of vines, and what we want to go now is to explore the details of these 3 different places. So we want to go through the organic to the terroir driven wines. Definitely, that's the idea.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Miguel from Quinta do Baixo, Niepoort. We here in Quinta do Baixo, in Bairrada, in the south of Bairrada, near to the Atlantic Sea. In that place, for me, we have the perfect limestone, the perfect block of limestone to do the most finest Baga in the little Bairrada.
And what's special about Baga as a grape variety?
The special of Baga, the Baga it's special because you do a good sparkling wine in Blanc de Noir or rosé, and you do a lovely red wine. On Niepoort's way, in the finest, in the elegance way, in here in Cantanhede, it's very easy because the concentration of the limestone, it's 90% in the plot. So our precious thing, it's the limestone.
What's your winemaking approach in the cellar?
So the idea in the vinification, it's very simple. Don't manipulate it a lot. So
And you like using whole bunch?
yeah. I use whole bunch, not in all wines, but in this case, this is Lati 20. They have 30% of whole bunch with the stems, and he gives a little of fruity and the good tannins of the stems with long maceration with low temperature. It's fantastic in that kind of wine. If you want to search fineness, elegance, and don't extract a lot of green tannins and stuff like that. It's fantastic.
Yeah, beautiful wine. Thank you.
Thank you. So you see probably 1 meter of clay and limestone pure, different types, more white, more yellow, have a little of iron.
When was your first vintage in the region?
80 vintage.
80.
1980 vintage.
So now we're like,
43 years old.
yeah, that's fantastic. So
And
this-
it's funny because I present this wine in London. Was my first time that I went abroad, close to Hyde Park, in a hotel close to Hyde Park. And the people that was there, the wine experts, enjoyed it. And I picked the wine from the concrete vat to go there, and they consider the best wine. And this changed my way in winemaking and in the wine business, especially in wine business.
And in the region generally, what's the strength of Bairrada as a region? What's the strength of Bairrada as a wine region? Is it the soils? Is it the climate?
Soil is very.
Yeah.
It's a good question because for Baga I use only chalky clay soil. The exception is one vineyard that I have with from ungrafted vines on sandy soil to avoid phylloxera. But ungrafted vines turn ripe earlier than the ones because the yield is too small. So, and for Baga it's very important chalky clay soil. As for Pinot, as for Nebbiolo, as for Terroirs. Why? Because imagine that comes the rain. At that time, they are at a nitric stress to achieve the ripeness. If comes the rain, if you have sandy soil, the water goes directly to the roots. They drink all the water, and they improve the size of the berry, breaks the skin, botrytis. On chalky clay soil, is not that. Chalky clay soil, if the rain is not so 2 days or 3 days full rain, you have the water only arrives to the roots maybe 4, 5, 8 days later, slowly. So that's improve the size of the berry, that's break the skin. That is the reason because the people in the old time are saying, Baga is good on chalky clay soil, but they never related why. They never found the reason. I found the reason because I have this problem with the wines from my father.
Thank you so much. That's fantastic.
Thank you, Jamie.
So Filipa, you're very famous in this region. You know, you've got a reputation for making great Baga. What's special about the grape variety Baga?
Baga is unique because the grape really reflects the terroirs of Bairrada, and you drive from the north to south and you understand the locations thanks to Baga. And Baga reflects really the terroir, the authenticity of this unique region.
And when you're making Baga, what do you have to do to get the best out of it?
Is the viticulture. I believe the wine is made in the vineyard. So I most of the time I spend in the vineyard. So we work by dynamic. So we have also animals in the vineyard.
Yeah, tell me about the animals. 'Cause I
Yes.
believe you've got some special pigs.
Yes.
Tell me about those.
So a part of the sheep, we started to introduce the pigs 2 years ago because the sheep, they can stay until March, and then we cannot leave them because they eat the green, so the buds. And then I was looking for another animal that are can stay until longer time. And the pigs are the local animals. I mean, Bairrada is the center of the suckling pig, so that's why we thought about the pigs. And they're working really great. I mean, they till the soil, they make a fantastic work.
Yeah. And what breed of pigs do you have?
So it's a cross of Bizaru, that is the local variety, together with Vietnamese, because they small pigs, and I work with them in the old vineyards only, because the old vineyards have very deep root system. So they make a fantastic decavaillonnage around the vines, and for us was a relief because we had to do it all by hand. Because it's completely a mechanizable vineyards, and now with the pigs we have a fantastic job done.
Do you pen them in to a certain area and give them a little bit to work at a time?
Yes, yes. We put them in a 2,000 square meter, and then we move them after 1 month to another part, and then when we finish the last part, we can come back to the first one, and it's green again. So it's like very good work they do, because they eat, but then it's some time left, and then when they come back, it's green, and the vines are looking much more happy.
Fantastic,
And much more alive. Because we had some loss of the vines in the beginning when we made the transition, and with animals we really give much more energy to the plants, and we have the vines much more alive.
Fantastic.
So it was a great solution, and thanks to my staff we can do it, because they're very dedicated to the vineyards and to the pigs.
Thank you so much.